Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're doing the RLCS 2024 World's Power Rankings. There's a lot of rankings that I could switch around and I could see switch around, so put your list down in the comments below and I'll go read them and see if they're good or terrible and see if you guys even agree with mine. So, I have this fancy schmancy PowerPoint and let's get straight into it. At 16 we have Limitless, which is SSA team. My main reasoning is SSA is underdeveloped, but they have shown signs of life with the top teams, and I think they could be competing for top 8 in the future, but right now I don't see them doing that, and I think a lot of people have agreed with me on this one. At 15 I have the Pioneers. OCE2 has never historically performed well. Has pretty upset potential, but I could see this team going only 1-3 at best. And you guys might have this at like 14 or 13. But I put Gladiators at 14. And the only reason why is they beat OCE2 in Major 2, which was the Chiefs, I believe, and they swept them. And then they missed the Major. So let's go back here. They missed the Major, that one. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but I do see them going on 0-3. But I could also see them beat an APAC team or go against the SSA team and go on that 1-3 round. Anything. This one's a very difficult one. Mina 2 seeds are not nearly as impressive as the one, which is obviously Falcons. Fell off after the first major with all that Rule 1 drama, so it's really hard to put them, and I really don't see them putting any higher than 13. Maybe a 12, but I see a 13 at highest. Secret. Now, Secret's one of the fastest teams. I mean, that's all of SAM. Like, you could describe SAM as like the fastest team or the fastest region. Extremely high upset potential. Like, this is the lowest ranking. I put that here. Lowest ranking. I didn't even look at it. With the highest shot at a top 8. If they are peaking, they could easily make a top 8. I see them making the round 5 rounds. But when they're at their mid, or they could drop off really easily, but their peaks are very high, and I could see them placing in the playoffs. Now we have Power. Now, Power is one of the best OCE teams to come out of OCE. Well, I just said OCE twice. Banana Head, Fever, and Torsos. Very high potential after they beat Oxygen in London, so after beating a top team like that, they have a lot of potential. Consistent round 5 team. They have a very high chance of breaking through into the playoffs. I mean, they're pretty high. I could see them even going higher, a 10 or a 9. Very high team. Best OCE team we've ever had, and the best OCE team to have a realistic shot of making the playoffs. Number 10, I have OG, my team. I really want to put them higher, but they made both lands, but they have been disappointing. They are the 4 seed twice, I believe, or maybe the 3 seed. The second major, I don't know. One of the bottom seeds every time. Have lost out both playoffs. Very consistent team and very structured playstyle with a lot of veterans and a lot of experience on the team. But they have not made a playoffs yet. It wouldn't be surprising if they run into a round 5 matchup where they have like a really good matchup. Then they can make a playoff, but I don't see them going past the top 8. I see them going round 5, either going out round 5 or winning that round 5 matchup. Gen G, this one's very tough. My 9 through 6s, it's very difficult to rank 9 through 6, so you guys have to bear with me. Very good team on paper. Abjack, Chronic, and First Killer. I mean, you can't really ask for a better team just on paper. You could see them like contending for LAN wins, but they've been very disappointing this whole season. I could see Gen G as high as 6 with their wins against G2. You gotta obviously take that into account as their Major 2 win. You know, their peaks are very high, and they could compete with these top teams. But at LAN, they haven't proved it yet, so that's why I have them down at the 9. But, yeah, if I see them, if they can find their forms, I could see a Grands. Furia. This one's extremely hard to rank. Furia made a top 4 and a top 8 their last lands as the stand number 1. Insanely high peak. Their peak could almost beat anybody in the world. They're extremely fast team as well, just because they're out of Sam. They beat Vitality, you have to put that into account. They beat big teams, but they have shown weaknesses when they're not at their peak. So when they're not at their peak, they are beatable. They can make a top 4 again easily as a power rank number 8. I see them making a playoffs, either going 3-1, 3-2. But, I mean, they have such high peaks, it's really hard to rank them. Because they could just be like a top team if they show up on, Saturday or Sunday. And, all of a sudden they're in grand finals. So I could totally see them way up there in like a 5 or something. 7 SSG. Now, my main reasoning. OJ is on the team. Extremely talented player. He is the MVP on this team. It's pretty easy to watch. They beat Furia easily. This did contradict my predictions though. I predicted an upset. I don't remember what round I had them in, but I had Furia beating SSG after SSG swept Furia, so that kind of contradicted my predictions. I see them making a top 8. If they run into a weaker team in Swiss, they can make a top 4. But I mean, their peaks isn't that high. If LJ's on and Chicago the Hawks are on, I mean, they obviously could beat a lot of teams. They could upset easily. I could see them showing up to the Worlds and making a run, but they have been a little bit disappointing with their performances, but I can see them up there as well. BDS, very tough one. I really wanted to put them lower as like a 7 or an 8. I mean, my main reasoning, Monkey Booty's on the team. Jolly is a super talented young kid. Obviously their peak could be super high, and I think it's their mentality that kind of drops them. When Monkey Moon does this thing where he does this, I mean, it's already over by that point. So if their mental's on point, I could see them win. They are the best team in the world if their mental is on point. And the reason why I really wanted to put them lower, they haven't made it past the quarterfinals yet, both lands. One was Jet to Mates and one was to G2, I believe. I could be wrong on that. So, I mean, really good teams. But if you're running into the quarterfinals, you're going to be running into good teams. So I put them at 6. I could see them lower. I can't really see them higher than a 6. But I can see them as low as like an 8 or a 9. Just because they haven't been performing on land very well. Carmine Corp. I had them at number 5 with the Tower Rise and Vatira. Man, they are extremely good players on paper. As a team and just by themselves. But they did miss Major 2. You cannot drop them. They were obviously number 1 after Major 1. But after missing the Major, it's really hard to rank them because you don't see them at the Major, and it's a very long break from Major 2 to the Worlds. So they are huge favorites to win the Major still because they're Tower Rise and Vatira. And then missing Major 2 puts them away from a top 3. As I said, they have to be dropped a lot for missing a Major. After being the 1 and having that super of a drop off, not even making a regional. But they still are a very top team. And they also are a contender for Worlds. They can be world champions if, with this long break, if they lock in and show up that day, they're the best team in the world. I have Vitality at 4. Now, a lot of people put them lower, but they are the reigning world champs, and I don't want to sleep on them. BDS was the same in 22-23 season, where they came back after winning Worlds, and they were kind of subpar all season. All lands and all regional, they're very subpar, and then they made a Grands in Worlds. So, I mean, they could turn up. Another reason is Zeni is on this team. I mean, there's not really any further explanation I should give for that. Extremely consistent. They are still one of the best on EU. I see them at 3, maybe. Actually, no, I don't. Ignore that. I don't see them at top 3. I do see them at 5, possibly. But if, Alpha and Radosin are on point, this team is unstoppable. Definitely one of the favorites to win Worlds, but it's very hard to win back-to-back. I mean, that's why I can see them lower. I put them pretty high just because of their reigning world champs. 3 have Gentlemates. So 1, 2, and 3 are very same. One of the best teams ever on LAN. One of the best LAN teams I've ever seen. And a stat is Juicy has more major wins than. Whoa, I said major wins than major wins. Whoops. Juicy has more major wins than regional wins. So just think of that. He won a major before he won a regional in his own region. These guys are really gonna land. They could show up and compete. Major 1 champs, insane pace, heavily favored to make worlds. You can see them making the grands. You can see them winning as well. They are the most consistent. They are the second most consistent team on LAN. You know, won the major 1 and then top 4, losing out to Falcons by 1 goal in a game 7 overtime. So I could easily see them as a 2 seed. But I do put them at 3 seed because Falcons is in that number 2 slot. They're the number one. Whoa, they're one of the fastest teams ever in the world. Extremely high peak. Canon has been major champs. They did beat G2 in that major 2 Swiss stage for that round 3. Swept them. So they have the potential to beat these very high top teams. Favored to win worlds. Extremely high talented ones players, all 3 of them too. So even, you know, one person on this team isn't like a downfall. They're all really, really good. If they're on the ball, it's scary. They're very punishing if you're out of position. I could see them winning worlds. Now, I think you guys already know who my number 1 is. G2, you can't see the name. Atomic Beast won a Daniel, the most consistent team in the world, making every single grand finals this season on LAN and regionals. They are 8 for 8 for grands, which is a crazy stat. 3 of the best, the top 5 players at NA on the same team. All these 3 players are on our top 5 in NA, and they're on the same team. That's a recipe for success, and it has shown. Major 1 runner-ups and then Major 2 champs. They're super high up there. Incredibly adaptable team. They can adapt to different play styles at a snap of fingers. Higher peak than anyone else here, and the biggest favorites entering worlds. A lot of people put them lower, like at a 3, and I don't see that ever. I cannot see G2 lower than a 2. Maybe I could see a 2 if you could convince me with crazy evidence. But they are 1 after coming second in the first major and then winning major 2. It's really hard to beat that. And then Falcons and Mates, I could see them switched just because how close they are. Falcons beat them in the semifinals by 1 goal in a game 7 overtime. Like, that's how close these two teams are. I can see them switch if they run into semifinals again or make up a grand finals match. I could see them switch. Like game 7. Again, these teams are really, really close. So yeah, that is all that. And in conclusion, the top 6 power ranked can realistically win worlds. So that is everybody until BDS. I see everybody BDS up, they can win worlds. And these are EU, Mina and NA. I see all 6 of them realistically winning worlds. And then many teams at the 7 to 11 range can be swapped around. I think I said that earlier. That mid-range team from like going to the round 5 Swiss matchups, they're very difficult to rank. So I could see them being switched out a lot. NA, EU, Sam, and Mina all have a fair shot of winning worlds. Now this is probably the best shot Sam and Mina has ever had to win worlds compared to any other seasons since they got introduced. And I'm really excited to see a minor team or minor region win worlds, and I could see Mina doing that. I think I predicted them winning for worlds, which is kind of a hot take. I put a lot of upsets in there because the worlds always has a lot of upsets. That's just how it goes. And we could see a Cinderella run from a lower team. As I just said, upsets is very, very likely in worlds just because that long off, like 3 months of just nothing. And with the offseason tournament, the shift, I will do a whole predictions thing probably later. But that is it for today. Put your power rankings in the comments below so I can read them. And that video is getting worked on right now. It should be out next weekend. So be ready for that. I'll keep you guys posted on how far I'm done with it and whatnot on the community tab. But Anyways, that should do it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Super appreciated. Like and subscribe if you did enjoy. And I will see you guys in the next video.